We reach over to Jamestown tonight to meet the Clear Fork River Band. It's the 9 o'clock news local edition here on Rock 93.7. Actually, it's just one member in with me tonight. I have Doug Garrett. Last time I have spoke with you once before. You were in a different band, so now you've started a new project, though.
Yeah, I was in Curly Purtis, and we all kind of went our separate ways, and I started something new.
And you just decided to go the direction of, where would you classify this music?
It's nearly the same as Curly Purtis. It's Americana. It's just a little more rock and roll than Curly Purtis was.
I think I noticed on your description on your site there, punk was actually tossed in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I grew up with, and you'll hear it a little bit in one of the songs. It's just more up-tempo and a little more in your face than anything else.
It's aggressive, but not overly aggressive.
Yeah.
It fits in with what you've been working on. So you put together new members in this band. You've got,
well,
how many people are in this with you?
Right now it's just a couple other guys, but mostly I'm the one that's been recording the songs and writing all the lyrics. So for now, they're just the live band. So all of this that you hear recorded is just me at this point.
So it's your vision, and we're going to get into your vision, where it's headed, what you plan to do with this, as we talk about the Clear Fork River Band tonight on the 9 o'clock news local edition here on Rock 93.7. From the remains of one band comes a new one. It's the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. Speaking tonight with the Clear Fork River Band, or at least the guy behind it. I have Doug Garrett in with me. Doug, you decided to take a new vision. You had been in a band called Curly Purtis, and you guys had come together. I think that was a happy accident.
It was a huge happy accident. We were all hired to play for somebody else, and we just kind of split off and did our own thing, and it exploded, and it was good times.
Things went pretty well for that band. You had been close to, I think, putting together some kind of a record deal at some point.
Yeah, we had been on a label for a while. We kind of went our own way after that, and we released our own record. Had quite a few shows booked, but, sometimes when you get older and you have a family and things, everybody has to pick priorities, and we just kind of split up.
Things just didn't work out. It wasn't anything bad or anything.
No fights or anything like that.
Curly Purtis still has a presence of sorts up online where they can still get some of the songs and things. And so that is still there. And I'm sure at some point, maybe even down the road, you guys might consider getting back together for some shows.
Yeah, I mean, we all still talk, and the guys have been really supportive of me. I could see us sometime in the future maybe getting together and playing a show or two.
So those who still love the Curly Purtis, don't be too disappointed. There will be something down the road. But more excitement about this new project, Clear Fork River Band. Where does the name come from?
I live in Fentress County, right next to Scott County, and what separates Fentress and Scott County is the Clear Fork River. And I've kind of been into that old Appalachia kind of feel where the songs are about the area you're in and what's going on. So I was like, I'll just name the band after this river.
The community around there, is it rich with music? Or?
Yeah, there's quite a few bluegrass groups and stuff around that, they play songs that are hundreds of years old. I didn't always grow up appreciating that music, and here lately I've got more and more into it.
Coming from your roots, sometimes because you're in it, immersed, it's kind of hard to understand why it's important.
Yeah, the older I get, the more I can appreciate, the music of the area, and it kind of makes me wish that I'd have got into it sooner. Anymore, you don't hear a lot of music that has banjos and mandolins and stuff like that, and it's kind of dying out. I wish that people could have appreciated it more, maybe got into learning those instruments and keeping that music alive.
This new project, then, kind of a return to that type?
Yeah, it's kind of like, my modern take on old Appalachian. It was a little bit of rock and roll and stuff that, I grew up listening to.
And your current influences come into play as well. I think we talked about as we started that you've actually listed punk up there because there is a little bit of aggressiveness to it. I think the style you're talking about normally considered to be a little more laid back.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit more pep in the step.
A little faster and a little louder, but I mean, it's still got that old school feel to it.
You're mostly doing the recording?
Yeah, all the recording, like the stuff I have recorded now is just demos, but I'm working on a full-length album I've got my own setup at home. I've got a ton of songs that I wrote when I was still with Curly Purtis, and a couple of the songs I wrote while I was with them, and I'm going to just record all of those and see where it goes from there.
One song already, Blackbirds. Where does Blackbirds come from?
The music I've had for forever, but one night I was asleep and I kept waking up and had these lyrics running through my head. And I was like, I'm going to write these lyrics down so maybe I can go back to sleep. And I wrote them all down, and a few days later, I started recording them to the music I already had. And I thought it turned out, pretty good.
It's Blackbirds. It's the Clear Fork River Band, the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. Going a little bit of a mix of, Americana meets Appalachia.
Yeah.
It's the Clear Fork River Band with us tonight on the 9 o'clock news local edition here on Rock 93.7. I have the guy behind it, Doug Garrett, speaking with us. Doug, how long have you been making music?
I've been making music for 17 years. I started when I was 15 years old. Some guys in high school that I knew had a little band, and they played like punk and metal and stuff. And when I heard them play, I just wanted to learn to play guitar. My grandpa, he went out and bought me an acoustic guitar so I could learn to play. And since then, that's all I've ever done.
Is guitar the only instrument you play?
No, actually, I play guitar, banjo, bass, drums, and I just picked up the ukulele.
What's been the hardest instrument to learn so far?
The banjo.
The banjo.
It's just like, I want to play guitar on it, and it's not a guitar. So it's a little bit harder, and there's so many different styles. I've just kind of picked up 2 or 3 different styles and kind of made it my own.
So whenever you're working the banjo, what is I've never even picked up a banjo. So what is the biggest difference?
It's an open tuning, and the highest string is on the top. So usually, it starts with the lowest string and goes all the way to the highest. Well, here you've got the highest string at the top, and then the lowest, and it goes down. It's an octave string that drones, and you play it at weird times, so it's nothing like a guitar.
It sounds like it's basically relearning how to write with your different hand. So I've always wondered what the challenge on that was. How's the ukulele fitting?
Yeah, I'm using the ukulele like it's a mandolin. They're really similar, except it's just the 4 strings instead of the 8. It is a lot of fun. I wish I'd have picked it up years ago. A few years ago, I noticed all the hipsters had, and I was making fun of the dudes that had them, and I picked one up and learned a few chords, and it might be one of my favorite instruments now.
So now you're a hipster.
I guess I'm a hipster.
Minus the man bun, which is okay. That's really not something you need to get by with anyway. Well, in the process of putting this together, I think we touched on earlier that you've really gotten an appreciation for some of the music that's been around you that you had really never looked at before. So has it changed the structure of your songwriting, thinking in that style? Or?
Yeah. I still write like the old country, and something people don't realize, country and pop punk have a lot in common because the songs are all about girls. Girls and women, they upset me, they broke my heart or whatever. I can write that, but going back to writing like the old Appalachian music, it's about the rivers and the trees. And I have a fondness for what they call the Appalachian murder ballad. And you hear it a lot. It's like there'll be a song about some woman or somebody, and they just tell you they threw them in a river or hung them from a tree.
Kind of like Delia?
Yeah.
Along those lines?
I've got pretty good at writing those kind of songs. I don't want to murder anybody, but they just seem to flow pretty easily.
I was going to ask, you said it's more about writing about things in nature as opposed to country and pop is about women. So do you just think of the river as your woman?
Well, I guess you could.
I don't think that's quite how that works, but we're going to find out how things are working for you. You've got songs together. You say you're building towards your album. We'll find out how the progression's going, what your plans are for getting out and playing live, too. We'll talk about that as we continue tonight with the Clear Fork River Band on the 9 o'clock news local edition here on Rock 93.7. Looking at what all goes into the new project that is being put together by Doug Garrett tonight. It's the 9 o'clock news local edition here on Rock 93.7. Doug, formerly of the band Curly Purtis, starting a new project, Clear Fork River Band. Sounds like the kind of name when you hear it, you think of like, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band or something along those lines. And I guess there's some similar roots there.
Well, I was kind of going for like a Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers vibe. I've been really into Tom Petty lately. You know, if you listen to Tom Petty, he's got rock and the Southern feel going on, and that's been a huge influence on me.
You are taking what you've worked at in the past. You've been in bands that were a little bit on the pop side, a little bit on the punk side. Curly Curtis a little bit more, I think, in the Americana side, and now you're adding in parts of Appalachia, and you are looking to get a band together. How big a band are we talking?
Well, I don't want it to get crazy, but where I'm at, I can go either way. I can go full-blown rock band with banjos and mandolins, or I can go just to the small bluegrass type outfit. You know, I've got a couple guys that have jammed with me, and we're going to start something as soon as I get the rest of the songs wrote. But I don't want to be limited by anything. If 15 people show up and want to be part of the band, we'll have 15 people. If it's just me and 2 other dudes, or if it's just me by myself, you know, we'll keep the music going. You keep
it written for the simple part. As far as it's a 3-piece for now, we're focusing on that. As long as we can play it, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
We can embellish a little bit. That's great too. What instrument would you love to be able to add?
Well, I would really like somebody to add some piano and like maybe some accordion. That's something that I can't play at all. I'm not a piano player, and I think some of my songs could benefit from that a lot.
Accordion. So are you thinking like maybe some Zydeco down the road?
Maybe something like some pseudo pirate rock.
Okay. Well, that might be an interesting twist as well. I don't think I've ever heard pseudo pirate rock before. It's a lot of R's in there.
Yeah.
You have got a couple of guys that are going out. So are you doing shows already, or are these down the road?
I've been doing shows on and off by myself before Curly Curtis and after. So I'm still out there playing on occasion. But for now, my main focus is getting the songs recorded and putting a live band together.
That's the next big project, and you're going to get towards that, and you're doing most of it at the house. I think we touched on.
Yeah.
You've got a few songs written, and you're looking into what they call what'd you call the Appalachian
murder ballads.
Is something that it's a certain song style of writing or writing style. You've already done one song. I thought we might share that. Shoot Her Dead.
Shoot Her Dead. It's about shooting her dead.
Couldn't get any more to the point than that. As far as the structuring of the song, how did that come together? Did you lyrics first, music, or?
I actually wrote it around a banjo part. I had a banjo part that I've been sitting and playing forever. And I was like, I'm going to record this. And I sat and started recording it. And then I added ukulele to it and some guitar. And the words just kind of came to me. And they were, you know, just an old song about shooting somebody and you're going to have to pay the price for your actions. Just really influenced by old Appalachian and semi-religious music, you know, where they talk about you're going to be judged for what you've done. I kind of threw that in there.
Well, we're going to pass on the judgment then. It's Shoot Her Dead. It's the Clear Fork River Band, the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. Having done a few different projects, he's got one of his own up and going. Tonight, talking with Doug Garrett about the Clear Fork River Band, the 9 o'clock news local edition here on Rock 93.7. You can do the same. You could be a part of this show and have a conversation about your band. Go to the website for all the details at rock937online.com. You have got a website, too, that they can go to. What is the Facebook page at the moment, I think,
yeah,
right?
It's a Facebook page for now. It's facebook.com/Clear River Band, Clear Fork River Band.
Just put in Clear Fork River Band, should take you to it. I think you also have it linked off your old Curly Curtis thing. I think it feeds from that as well. What about getting songs up on there? Is there a place that they can get those? Is that there too? Or?
You can go to Reverb Nation, and I have all the demo EP. The whole thing is up the stream.
And that's all kind of linked off there, I think, as well.
Yeah.
And as far as the progress is going, are you putting updates on there for people? Or?
Yeah, right now I'm working on a website, and I try to keep people updated and keep them interested in what I'm doing.
Focus is in the studio or your recording area and trying to get this together. Down the road, going to be doing some shows. You lining up dates or?
Not yet. Right now, I've got some stuff where actually I'm working with my mom. She's putting together an after-school guitar class in Jamestown for the kids at York Elementary. We were talking about how music's kind of nobody's really getting into learning how to play instruments anymore. So we're putting together a guitar class, and we might be putting together like a benefit show to raise money to get guitarists to teach the kids how to play.
That sounds like a worthwhile thing. Well, you'll have to let us know about that so that we can make sure we pass that along. And they can also keep up with you and do the same at your Facebook page there for the Clear Fork River Band. Doug, I appreciate you coming in and talking with us about this project, giving us your new music, and letting us know what's coming up.
Well, I appreciate being here.
It's the Clear Fork River Band conversation with them tonight. Thanks to Doug Garrett, the 9 o'clock news local edition here on Rock 93.7.